broadcasting from Northwest Pennsylvania. You're listening to the Gen Extra Podcast, a show about Generation X, movies, technology, weird news, and anything else they feel like. Join them every Monday morning. Now, here's your hosts, Dave and Joe.
All right, welcome back to another episode, everybody. How you doing,
Yes,
JoJo?
indeed. I'm doing well. We got some snow, but it's all gone. It's gonna be like 55 degrees today.
I know. Yeah, I kind of wish it was snowing, honestly.
I know, right? Like, what happened to snow in Northwest Pennsylvania?
I don't know. I guess when it's cold out, I'd just rather it just be a nice, soft, snow than freaking raining on you. Actually, matter of fact,
I think so too. Yeah.
We went to a Steelers game on Sunday, and we got rained on.
Oh no, you weren't under one of the overhangs?
Oh no, we had difficult seats. I'll say that. There's a section like where you've been to Acrisure Stadium.
Yeah, Acrisure Stadium. Now, wow, it just really rolls off the tongue.
Oh, it does. Yes, so much better than Heinz. But there's the main scoreboard that's at, like, directly at the end of the one end zone, and then there's the other one that's like kind of at a 45 from the end zone.
Okay.
We were at that end, way up in the seats. They're not even seats; they're like bench seats.
Wait, you mean it's not an individual like folding seat? It's just like a bench.
It's just a bench,
like a literal bench.
Yeah, it just has a number behind you.
I did not know that about Acrisure / Heinz Field, that they actually had bench seats.
They do. Yeah, which was
okay.
I mean, it was fine, but like when you're squeezing people in all shapes and sizes, you're not really sure where your seat is and the next one begins. So you're kind of like, I don't know. I think I'm in my seat. You're kind of looking behind you, like, I think I'm right behind number 4. I'm good.
Right. And,
it was tough though because I'm just gonna jump right into this. Sorry, but the seating itself, there was literally like a foot, like 12 inches of space between you and the next bench in front of you. So everybody that came by, they had to come and go. Was in your row.
Yeah.
Which was quite often. You had to like get up and kind of almost stand on top of the bench and contort yourself so you could get out of the way.
Right, because there's really no effective way to just like move your feet out of the way,
There's
right?
no room to get past your feet. You can't even just like kind of turn a little bit. You had to literally get up out of the way.
So it's like worse. It's worse than sitting in like one of the normal seats where you can kind of like twist a little bit. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no additional room there. But that's the least of the problems we had. So when we were there, like the first quarter of the football game, we were there with a group of like 8 or 9 of us, and we're like, wow, like we couldn't have asked for better weather. This is amazing. Whoops.
Oh no.
We jinxed it. So as we were sitting there, it was like partway through the second quarter, and I always want to say period, but yeah, second quarter, and we saw this rain cloud coming in, and we're like, uh-oh.
Oh, that's the worst when you can see it ahead of time.
Oh yeah, and then there was lightning strikes. The rain started pouring down. They ended up they postponed the game temporarily.
And you're still sitting up there, right?
Yeah, so they're like, everybody needs to get under cover somewhere. So we all had to go down like to the I don't know what you call them, just the area that's not outside. And
you had to go back within the confines of like the
under
stadium,
roof
like,
parts, yeah.
Yeah.
So dude, it was herding cattle. It was unbelievably packed. People were rude. They were just kind of like pushing a little bit. Not everybody, but some people. But so we had to make the decision at that point because my wife had just recently gotten her boot off of her foot because she broke her ankle.
Oh, okay.
So walking up, all those ramps to get up there in the first place, up and down a couple times, because we were at the very top, like where you can like look out of the stadium. So there was like 400 stairs to climb. So at this point, the Steelers are playing like crap. The weather's turned to garbage. Her ankle's starting to bother her. And we decided at that point, we're like, you know what? We're over it. We're done with it. So we left.
Oh, wait. So how soon in the game was this then?
Halftime.
Halftime, yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
And they were playing a 2-9 team and not playing well. at all. Like they managed to get one field goal at that point. But yeah, so we were like, it's not a very exciting game. They're playing like crap. Weather's garbage. We're at it. Like we're done. So, but one thing aside from all that, when was the last time you were at a major sporting event? Was it the last time you and I went to a Pens game?
It's close to that. I actually went to a Penguins game. I know I went to one last year shortly after that with another couple that wanted to go with Erica and I. So I went to a couple Penguin games last year.
Okay. Is it always, I mean, I know stadium food and stadium drinks are always on the high end. It's been a thing for a long time. Cost wise, they're
right.
$12, $14, $18 for a single beer.
It's that whole captive audience problem, right? I mean, and quite literally, they have a captive audience.
Yeah, you don't have a choice. You can't bring it in yourself. Nope. So you have to buy what they have. I was fully expecting that. We got a couple burgers and some French fries, a couple beers. And it was like, I don't know, it was like $80 or something like that. Or 70 some dollars.
For like a collection of food and drinks. And,
yeah, you know what you're coming into with that.
Yeah.
But what caught me off guard the most was parking.
Okay.
When I go to events, like I guess maybe I've either A, gotten lucky, or B, just haven't been to some recently, because we pulled into a parking lot, before the game. We were looking for a place and pulled in, and the guy standing there, I roll my window down, and he says to me, $80.
What?
$80 to park your car.
Holy!
I was like,
that's
80. I had 20 already put on my wallet because that's what I was expecting.
Where did you park? Do you happen to remember like the parking location? Was it near the stadium?
It was Mike Tomlin's parking space.
Right, I was just saying, yeah, or was it TJ Watts? I mean,
right. Yeah, dude, no, it was like a few blocks away, like just a random parking lot up by a Taco Bell. But they were charging just an astronomical amount of money to park your car. My question is, when the hell did this happen? When did it cost almost $100 to park your vehicle?
That $80
$80, dude,
is absolutely brutal for park. I mean, it's way more than I think that's way more than a Penguins game.
Yeah, like I remember, right? I want to say, because I know in the past going to games, it was like sometimes you find a lot for like $10, 20, some were like 25. But that was about like the max that I remember. I think maybe at one point we saw one that was 40, and I thought that was kind of extreme. But yeah, $80 to park your car. So not only did we leave early.
Oh no! So you must have. I mean, just by the pure luck of like driving around down there, you had to have. I'm not saying accidentally, or you were just driving around. You must have drove into one of the more expensive lots.
We had to have. Yeah, because the other two vehicles that were with us didn't park in that lot. We all got separated and just found places. Our one friend Josh, he found one for $50, and our other friend Jackie, she found one for $60. So maybe it was like $65, but still, like that's still all high. That's still a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I and you know what it is. It's just simply the fact that I think it's the Steelers, right? Like. I mean, I think you can even get into the normal Penguins lots for like 35 or 40. I don't think they're $80. That's
it's extortion, dude. It's highway robberies because you have to park somewhere.
It's absolutely brutal.
Yeah, and it's mean. Like if that's why they're doing it, just because of supply and demand, that's just mean.
I mean, and unfortunately, I hate to say it, right? Because it sounds so like cut and dry, but what else would it be?
Well, it's not because the parking lot got more expensive for them to own.
Right.
There's no products involved. They've gone up in price. At least, I can't imagine.
You pave it once every couple of years, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, maybe the cost of blacktop has skyrocketed. Who knows?
No, I've always made this joke though. If I could do it all again, I would just invest in parking lots in downtown, Pittsburgh or something.
Oh my God, yes, dude. Yeah.
The margin on a $80 parking pass or parking fee for the day is astronomical.
Oh, it's probably 97% margins. Like it's probably ridiculous. Like it probably that's between the taxes you're going to pay on the lot, The upkeep every so often, like you said, with painting lines and blacktopping. Dude, they're just making hand over fist, man.
Oh yeah, every car that rolls in there, and I don't know how many that lot could hold, but think about that.
I was
right?
looking, yeah.
I'd be doing the same thing too. I'd be like, hold on. I'd be like, hey,
One,
honey,
two,
how many
four,
cars
six,
do you?
eight, yeah.
It's like, oh my, like that's over $60,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there was like a couple hundred cars. Like it was a big lot.
Yeah, those aren't. I've been to a Steeler game. I've been to one Steeler game, and I know I didn't pay 80, so I must have just got dumb lucky and parked in one of the further away parking lots because I do remember walking quite a bit. But yeah, 80 is brutal. And then you tack that onto, of course, you were already prepared to spend $80 in the stadium to eat and drink and be merry, I guess you could say.
Yeah. To be merry.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
I mean, unfortunately, yeah, the Pittsburgh teams aren't so hot this year, so it makes, and I don't like that because it makes going to the games even more brutal, right?
It does, yeah. Like we had high hopes, like I said, because the team we were playing wasn't doing too well this season, but they wrecked us. And to your other point too, yeah, the Penguins are also in a bit of a slump as well, playing teams they should be beating, and they're just playing like crap. So we don't need to turn this into a big sports segment.
No, this segment is on what it costs to go to. I mean, you have to now prepare for, like you said, an $80 up to $80 parking.
Oh, we even heard ones that were 100.
I think there is. While we've been talking here, I've been looking at the different parking lots around Acrisure Stadium, and I do see some that are saying Steelers is like I found one for 40, but I see one here that says 100.
Yeah, $100.
I mean, what is that in the stadium?
It's got to be, yeah. It's got to be right behind the end zone.
Yeah, hold on, honey.
Pull your car out.
The car's right there.
Oh my god, yeah, and that's not even like valet, man. That's just how much to park your damn car for a few hours.
Wait, I wonder if that even exists.
No, there's no way. Maybe for like some high roller people, like with the box seats, that come in with security. I don't know. Like it just seems like it's probably doesn't exist though.
I gotta give you something. I gotta bring this up, dude, because it's just gonna boil you over. You ready?
Yeah.
What do you think they charge for a Pirates game in the 40? I'm gonna pick out, for example, one of the average cost parking lots. It's $40 in one of the parking lots that's a little bit further away from where you parked. It's called Gold One.
Okay.
What do you think they charge for the Pirates?
Oh, is that $40? Is that for the Steelers game?
The Steelers rate is 40.
So it is based on the actual event.
Yes.
Okay, so for a Pirates game, $40 for Steelers, I'm gonna say $10.
I gotta tell you, man, that's fantastic, right? The Pirates. This is funny. If you get there around game time, it's $12. Okay,
$12.
$12. Yeah. If you get there early, it's $9.
Wow. $9.
$9 to park for the Pirates.
Wow. How does it say? Oh, well, they're different stadiums. So the $100 tickets for Steelers are probably much closer to the Acrisure.
I mean, I don't know. I think the way that those two stadiums are designed to share lots in some manner.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Acrisure and I think it's the Pirate, and I'm not 100. It's Point Park, I think. I forget exactly where. Oh yeah, they do, right? Because Acrisure sits, if you're looking on a map down, Acrisure sits a little bit to the left of the Pirate Stadium, which is, I have no freaking clue. What is the Pirate Stadium even called? It's not called. I mean,
Three Rivers? No,
they don't call it Three Rivers anymore, right?
PNC Park.
PNC Park. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, there.
$9, dude.
That's great. Yeah, maybe I should become a baseball fan.
You know what I've heard? I've heard if you have with the Pirates, because they are always terrible. They're not unlike the other two teams, which can be competitive at times. And I'm not knocking on the Pirates at all because look, I don't manage baseball. I don't know how it works, whatever. But they've been not good. I've heard though, if you want to go have a nice Saturday or Sunday afternoon, go to a Pirate game.
Okay.
I've multiple people have told me that. The hot dogs are cheap, the food is cheap. There's tons of room in the stadium because
not that many people go.
Not that many people go, especially if you're talking like a weeknight.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, actually, I found some information too. Now that we're on the subject about just pricing of things inflating. I actually sent this to you the other day,
Okay.
and it's kind of based around the topic we talked about like a few episodes ago. Remember I was talking about the price of potato chips and just grocery shopping in general has gotten out of control. Do you remember the movie Home Alone?
Very well.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think way back in season 1, we talked about some of the dangerous stunts in Home Alone that would probably have, if not maimed you, killed you.
Oh yeah, yeah. Every one of his booby traps would have killed those guys. But anyway, in the movie, Kevin McAllister, he went grocery shopping by himself, trying to be a big boy, and he went and he bought 10 items in the grocery store. I don't remember specifically what they all were, but there was like laundry soap, toilet paper, some food, just a variety of different things. Remember, he was carrying those bags down the sidewalk. It was like 4 bags.
Yeah. I remember exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, his total in the movie for all those groceries was $19.83. Somebody took the liberty and went on Walmart.com and they put in their online shopping cart every item that he bought, or as close to exactly what it was 20 some years ago, 30 years ago. The total cost in 2023 for those 10 items was $104.97.
Really? Via Walmart.com?
Yes, dude. It went up that much.
Bad.
Yeah, dude. Like, yeah, it was less than 20, then it was over 100 now for the same exact stuff. And everybody knows it though, man, because like when you go to the grocery store now, it is insane, man. Like I just went today. I had to go pick up some we grabbed some like lunch meat and stuff and buns. Yeah. Just for making sandwiches. We were kind of out of like lunch food. And it was like $87. And I literally walked out there 3 bags. I'm like, this is absurd. Like it's just so much to grocery shopping. But anyway, I could talk about that and complain about that for the next 40 minutes, but I'm not gonna, because we have other things to get to. We
do. So the moral of the story is you got to take bigger bills to the grocery store.
You do. Yeah. Or shop at Aldi's.
Well, I mean, that place is basically free.
Yeah. You know what I worry though, like that the Aldi secret is getting out, that you can get a lot of your grocery shopping done there for, at least half the cost almost.
Well, it's way cheaper than going to like a Giant Eagle or even a Walmart. And that's even considering the Walmart's is already cheap.
Yeah. My worry is the more people that start shopping there, will they start to have a supply and demand issue to where they may have to start raising their prices?
I mean, I think they would have to be absolutely slammed, I think.
I'd hope so. Because that's that's the allure of going there. Save money. So if they just start jacking their prices up, people just go back to Walmart. So they can't do it.
Right. They do have a limiting factor in the market, and it's their competitive space.
Yeah.
Aldi competes in we're less expensive than everybody else space, and they are. I mean, have you been in an Aldi lately?
Yeah.
It's just less expensive.
It is. I mean, some of the stuff isn't amazing, but some of it's pretty good. You get some like weird, off-brand chips and, everything's off-brand. Like there are some things in there that are name brand, but they're comparable to the cost that you would find at Walmart. I think they exist in there because, people may not want to go
right
over to Walmart just to get their thing at Hidden Valley Ranch. So they'll throw them in the store like whatever we have it.
Yep.
You're not saving a dime on it, but it's here.
And they might get some bulk discount or something, right? And it's weird because what I always find so fascinating about the Aldi off brands is just how like similar they are to the name brand product, right? And what I've heard, and I haven't confirmed this, I didn't do any research for this show, but what I've seen discussed in other forums and places is that a lot of times what Aldi gets is the same product. Sometimes it's a different line in the factory. Sometimes it's maybe not the best crop. It's the same factory that packages up like say Triscuits or something. Mm-hmm. It's just a different line in the factory, or it's the less high. I don't know. It's the ones that don't look perfect they get packaged into a different box for Aldi, and then they get sent over to them for their store.
That's fine. That's how they keep. I'll take the discount.
I mean, right. At some point, like a Triscuit is a Triscuit, and you don't care if it's misshapen or not, right?
No. Save half off that box. I'll take it.
Anyway, that's just what I've heard. I didn't look that up, so don't anyone walk away from here going, well, Joe told me that.
I heard this on the Gen Extra podcast.
Yeah. And those guys only tell the truth. I mean, at least we try to.
Yeah.
We try to.
We never just make assumptions here on the show, ever.
Never. I've never done that.
No. But all right, let's jump into a little bit of news, Joe. I have a few stories. I think you found. Did you find something too?
I did find one. Yeah, I found a relatively funny news story. It's not really weird. It's just fun.
Yeah, I'm not going to play the news button, the weird news button. I feel like I've been pushing that a lot lately.
Well, and we're not doing weird news today, right? It's just more.
One of mine's kind of weird, but anyway, it's news. It's newsy. So all right, I'm going to go first since you only have one. Mine. I don't even know where this is at, actually. Usually I like to credit kind of where I saw this or found it, but it was like an Instagram story. So I don't know where it was out of. But it was a lady went to a Chipotle restaurant, ordered herself some kind of a Chipotle burrito thing.
Okay.
And didn't care for it. So she walked it back up to the counter. And you know how those things are, man. They get pretty big and there's a lot of stuff in there.
Wait, the burrito itself, right?
Yeah, because you can just have them like, add a little bit of that, some of that stuff over there, some rice, some meat, some of that tomato-y looking stuff. Yeah. And it just gets massive. Well, she didn't care for it. And she walked it back up and threw it in the girl's face. Like the girl that made it at the counter, and then stormed out and left.
She chucks it up on the counter and just leaves.
Oh, no, she throws it in her face.
Threw it at her. Holy, okay.
The girl got a face full of burrito. And it went like everywhere all over her. Well, anyway, so they obviously caught the thing on video, the event, and she went to court, and they found her guilty. So she got, what do you call it?
Aggravated assault with a burrito?
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, she got charged with assault. So she got like 6 months in prison. And the judge, this was the twist, the turn of events. The judge offered her something for a lesser sentence.
Oh, I love where this is going.
Yeah. So this is where the story takes the twist. So
this is the twist. Okay.
He said, I'll give you a lesser sentence if you want to cut some time off your stay in prison. If you work for Chipotle, they've agreed to let you work there. And
really?
Yeah. He's like, because I want you to live a day, or I want you to live in their shoes. And then, well, because
I love it. Honestly, I love it.
Yeah, because like I think so many people, and I told this to my daughter when she was getting a job. She was working at a restaurant. I said everybody should have to, like, mandatory, have to work in fast food or in the food service of some kind, because I feel like
right, some kind of customer facing service industry, right?
Yeah, even a checkout at a grocery store, anything where you deal with human beings, deal with the public. Because I feel like a lot of people are so unnecessarily cruel and mean to waitresses and waiters and, you know, any kind of staff, whatever it may be, because they've never been there. So I think this is so genius that they can't do this with everybody, because some people were probably too far gone and just horrible human beings. But in this case, I kind of hope they follow this up somehow and I find it, because I'd like to see if she possibly talks about, you know, how wrong she was, and I'm so sorry about what I did. It's a lot harder than I thought to make these burritos.
Well, but that's how these, I mean, whenever these things play out, or they have somebody have to do the job, that this isn't the first time this has happened, but they usually do something like what they say, like, I really appreciate all the work that goes into the counter, you know, or preparing a burrito now, because now I've lived it, you know. Hey, anything to stay out of jail for 6 months, right? Yeah. Oh,
I mean, she'd be dumb not to take it, but hopefully she becomes a little more sympathetic afterwards.
You know, and I think that's, I just want to mention there that one of the things that I always try to do when I am whether I'm eating at a restaurant or it's like fast food or it's something else, even it's just retail or something. If you've got a problem with the store or the service or whatever, you're going to be a heck of a lot better off just emailing customer service or calling their customer service hotlines for a couple different reasons. One, the store is likely not going to do much about it directly because blowing up in the middle of the store is not going to solve anything.
Right.
But two, when you call like the official like customer service hotlines or whatever, and you simply explain what happened, half the time, no, more than half the time, most of the time, they just want it to go away. They just want your complaint to go away. So they will just throw refunds and coupons and free stuff at you. Not that that should be your goal, but generally speaking, if you want the best apology possible, call the official like helplines. You're going to have a lot better time doing that than you are throwing a burrito in somebody's face.
Yeah. There's your PSA of the day.
Yeah.
Call
absolutely.
the customer service lines. Yeah. I was always proud of myself and how good I was at customer service back in the day.
I tell you what, I have found that to work in almost any, even with some, I had a bill that was wrong for a certain service that I receive.
Yeah.
And I didn't go down to the store to get it fixed. I called their service line. She was like, yeah, we can take this off. We can take this off. We can take this off. And it was done. It was like done in like 3 minutes. So there you go.
Yeah. Versus someone at the store scratching their head, like, oh, I got to go find my boss.
No, that's exactly the problem too, because when the store has to handle it directly, they have to jump through a lot of hoops and stuff. Corporate entities don't want to deal with that. They just want you to go away.
Yeah. Then you get the boss. He's like, oh, this is above my pay grade. I'm going to have to call corporate on this one.
I'm going to have to call corporate.
Got to call corporate. Yeah, I don't know what to do here. It's like, it's $5, man. Like, just take it off.
Yeah, yeah. Or like, this wasn't late. Just this, you know what I mean? Like, whatever.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's hear your story. What do you got?
So I've got, I'll just read you the article. I'll read you the headline, then I'll go into it. Right. ISS astronaut finds tomato that was lost in space for 8 months. And it had mutated and became a human-eating tomato, and it devoured all of them.
Aha! I knew it. So wait. So how? I don't know if you read much of the story, so I don't know if you have all the answers for me. But how did the tomato get in space?
So the ISS, I don't know if they're still doing the experiment, but they were harvesting tomatoes in the space station. This actually received a little bit of traction in the news because they were trying to determine, what happens to, Earth grown, technically tomatoes a fruit. We've had this conversation before, but what was happening to Earth grown fruits and vegetables?
Oh, in no gravity.
In essentially weightlessness.
No, wait a minute. There's no reason to even know this, is there? I mean, I guess unless they have to live. Okay, wait, all right. So
remember, you're going to want to know this.
Yeah.
Right.
So if they want to make a space station where people stay up there for extended periods of time, they could potentially grow their own fruit and vegetables. So maybe okay.
Right. Think about a long-term starship.
Yeah.
Too. Right. If you find out you can't grow fruits and vegetables in space because they're all, contorted, or they don't, the laws of physics affect them in a way that you don't want. Now you have a serious problem on your hands.
Yeah, yeah. Or they're just gonna be stuck eating astronaut food and Chef Boyardee and stuff like
right.
that.
Yeah, yeah, right. Freeze dried Chef Boyardee.
Actually, would a Chef Boyardee can would it explode or implode or something if there was enough air in it still?
Well, the space station itself is
pressurized. Okay, yeah. So
it's pressurized.
What if you threw it out in space, Joe?
It all depends on the pressure differential.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If the can can't contain the pressure differential, then yeah, you might have a problem.
Oh, I guess that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, the spaceship does. I'll bet you a can would. If it wasn't like a pop top can, I bet you could throw a can of anything out there and be all right. They're pretty, I don't know. They're pretty strong.
I don't know. Right. So we should,
not that I really care.
I'm going to call NASA.
Yeah.
And ask them.
Tell them, say, next time you're up there, take a can of ravioli and chuck it out into space. See what happens. Gen Extra Podcast wants to know.
Well, I'm sure they're going to get right back to us. I probably should tell you what this was all about.
Yeah, please. I'm sorry. I was rambling.
Okay. So they grew these tomatoes, and it was on March 29th of 2023 this year. They did a harvest, right? They went around all these tomatoes that they made. And this is like a smaller tomato. I think it was like a cherry tomato variety.
Okay.
they were like, hey, we're going to actually try them now. And apparently they opened the bag and one just floated away, right? Everything's not really floating, but you get the point, right?
Yeah.
Like it got out of his bag. And I guess they were in the middle of trying to eat them and trying to, like they were analyzing them and discussing them. And one just it just got away. Like it just, because someone bumped it or whatever. So now you have a tomato somewhere in the International Space Station. And that's really an environment where you just don't want like rogue fruits and vegetables like getting jammed into a corner or something somewhere.
How long was it gone for?
It looks like it's been gone for they looked at it initially 18 to 20 hours of their own time looking on it. Oh, so I'm sorry. So reporters asked Rubio, that was astronaut something Rubio. I don't know what his first name was. He lost the tomato, apologize, not in March, is on October 13th. About 2 weeks after he safely returned home with his, they asked him about the tomato on October 13th. He lost it in March. So he said they never came to light. So between March 29th and October 13th, they still had a missing tomato on the ISS. And apparently they just found it, as in, like 2 days ago, about 2 days ago. So this is also, I'm reading this from space.com. So if you want to go read the whole article, it's out there. But just a couple of days ago, they found it. So this thing has been lost since March, sitting somewhere.
My question is, did it still rot?
So it said the reality of the problem, and I'm reading from the article here. The reality of the problem is the humidity up there is like 17%. It's probably desiccated to the point where you couldn't tell what it was.
Oh, okay.
And somebody just threw the bag away. That's what he was hoping had happened to it. But they didn't. Here's what they don't say, and I actually wish they would. The remains of a tiny tomato finally showed up. They don't really say what it looked like, which I thought would have been more interesting.
That's what I was curious about. Like, yeah, what kind of state was in? Did that change in any way from what we're used to seeing?
Yeah, they just said our good friend Frank Rubio, who already headed home, has been blamed for eating it, right? They said, I bet he ate the damn thing.
Right.
But they exonerated him. We found the tomato, says NASA astronaut Jasmine Mogbelli said during a live stream event on Wednesday, December 6th.
Exonerated.
I have to imagine it just basically rotted away and dried up.
Yeah, probably.
Right? I can't imagine that it was like in any better condition than that.
I'm just imagining them in like a NASA court hearing, and they're like, what was the guy's name? Rubio?
Yeah. His last name was Rubio.
They got him on the stand like, Rubio, did you eat the tomato? It's like, no, I didn't. Did you eat the tomato?
I want the truth.
It's so funny. They're all bent out of shape about this tomato.
Yeah. You can't handle the truth. So,
oh my God.
Hey, good news. They found the tomato on the ISS, and no, it did not bring the ISS, plummeting to the Earth.
Well, that's good.
Thankfully.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep moving on here. All right. So I found a story on independent.com, whatever this is. I'm not familiar with this site. It says dolphins deliberately get high on pufferfish nerve toxins by carefully chewing and passing them around. So
I love it.
Oh God, dude. There's a pun in here that I don't think anybody hit, man. They should be saying puff, puff, give. They missed it. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah. So, the dolphins, who are, obviously a very intelligent species of fish or whatever are they fish? No, they're a mammal. They got blowholes. They, what's that?
Yes, you're correct. Your second, I think your second statement is correct. I believe they are considered marine mammals.
Yeah, but these pufferfish, which I believe are toxic to human beings, they, like I said, they get a hold of them and they carefully extract the nerve toxin that gets them all high and stuff.
I just think that is I just think that is fantastic, because I think it just goes to show you that relatively intelligent creatures will always look for a way to get themselves high.
Yeah. I mean, we've all heard the stories of dolphins are the only other species on the planet that procreate for fun.
Yeah, right.
So apparently they're now, just getting high too. It's not too far off before they're going to be talking. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so apparently the toxin is called tetrodotoxin. It's called TTX.
Okay.
And it produces a narcotic effect in small amounts. The general assumption appears to be that they do this, though I don't know how much of this is circumstance, or they just haven't noticed it or not, or maybe they've seen it in captivity. They say researchers generally accept this to be happening, but they have yet to actually see one do it in the wild for real. Like they found like the remnants of this happening. So the general assumption is, yeah, they do it. They just haven't seen it yet. But I love the idea of it, because I think it just goes to show you that, like, I don't know the best way to put this. Like a dolphin in its normal state of being is like, I think I'm going to go get high.
Well, that's just it. I think they're so smart that they make that decision, and I think, give enough time, if they legalize pufferfish, the dolphins are just gonna be doing it everywhere, man. Those do it everywhere. You can't go anywhere without seeing them puffing on a pufferfish.
Yeah, I mean it's fascinating to me, and dolphins in general are fascinating to me. Just if you've ever, I don't know if any our listeners or you have been around them, but they are just fascinating creatures, and definitely worth just the things that they do. Definitely worth checking out. What an interesting creature.
Yeah. Speaking of interesting creatures, Joe, I have one more story. This one was on nprnews.com. This one says a rat plague hits an Australian coastal town and thousands more wash up on shore.
Ew.
Yeah, it says a plague of rats is creating havoc in Kurumba, a small coastal town in Queensland, Australia, where hordes of rodents are chewing on electrical wires and eating everything they can find.
Like hordes of it.
Hordes, yeah.
Hordes of rats. Does it say rats?
Rats, yeah. Yeah, it says that one guy says the stench is quite bad from because there's dead rats just floating up on shore. Yeah, I saw something else in here too. Where is it? Oh, okay. So this actually happens every so often. So this is a recurring news story about every 10 to 12 years, actually. Every so often, just depending on the rainfall that this area sees, there will be a increase in vegetation. So a lot of green stuff just starts growing like for miles, like away from the coast where it's usually pretty dry, and it just attracts rodents, especially rats. So, and they like I said, they're swimming there too. Like they're just not. They're making a swim.
I just can't imagine being a rat and like being like, I'm going to swim across this body
Ocean.
of water. It just doesn't seem like it. It just doesn't seem like a good use of your time.
No. I wonder how many of those rats get like eaten up like by sharks and barracudas, stuff like that.
Or just not making it.
Well, those are all the ones that are washing up because they all drowned. But
right.
Yeah, it says. Yeah. Okay. So okay. So the biggest problem with the rats, aside from them being rats, is they it says that rats produce 12 rat babies every 3 weeks when conditions are good, and right now the conditions are good because they have plenty to eat, and they're every 3 weeks they're pumping out 12 rat babies times. Dude, just do the math. It just multiplies
too much.
So fast. So they're I'm not sure what they're gonna do, because they either just need to let it ride and just let nature do its thing, or like there's been issues too in the past where certain places have experienced an infestation of a certain species, and then they'll introduce something into the environment to eat them or to kind of balance it out. And I know we've talked about this before. But then you have a problem because whatever you introduce sometimes doesn't have natural predators, and then that thing becomes the problem.
Becomes a problem. It is a classic. That is a classic. What's the right word here? That is a classic pest control problem, whether it's another species or if it's even like a chemical that you apply or it's altering. Sometimes they try to put things into the gene pool so they change, but it's always a problem.
Yeah, there was something somewhere where there was a frog problem or a toad problem or something, and they introduced some mammal that just loved to eat these things, and it did it like it eradicated all the toad problems, but then it ran out of food, and nothing was hunting that particular. I wish I had the details on that,
no. Yeah.
But anyway, so it turned its sights on like other things, and then it became a problem because it was like starting to take out like all the other like little animal life and rodent life. So yeah, I hope they don't mess up. Let's just let it ride, man. Just wait till they run out of food.
Sometimes it's kind of like pick your poison, right? Do you bring in another species and risk that, or do you deal with the species as is? And it's certainly not the first time that's happened, and probably won't be the last time.
Yeah. What have we ever had something like that around here in Pennsylvania? Nothing I can think of. Aside from like bugs, like sometimes we get like bug outbreaks.
That's the only thing that I can think of in Pennsylvania is that especially when you and I were younger, and I think it's a lot more under control now. But I do remember when we were younger, we had a lot of bug and pest issues in Pennsylvania that they used to spray for.
Oh, did they really?
If I remember that correctly.
Yeah, I remember when we were kids. There was a caterpillar or something that was like, that was wreaking havoc and was. I think it still happens though. Like people,
but not nearly as much. Not nearly as much. If you recall, it was the I cannot believe I'm drawing a blank. I've probably said the name 1,000 times. There is a caterpillar in Pennsylvania that is an invasive species and it kills trees. And when you and I were much younger, and I grew up out in the woods, you could drive down the road and you could see
the big caterpillar nests
that they would build on the trees. And you would, this is kind of gross. And if you're listening to this, if you're Pennsylvania, you probably remember this. You could see entire trunks of trees covered with these caterpillars.
Yeah. You remember the big nest they would build in trees?
And they would build those spidery cocoon-like nests in the trees, and they would decimate trees with those nests and everything. And it was gross. If I can just put that out there, it was bad. And they sprayed for it, and eventually today that population is much more under control. Now, what that spray did, who knows? I mean, I think it was a targeted DNA type spray. It didn't affect anything else. But I mean, yeah, this problem happens all the time in civilization, right? It's we own the environment, we control it, so we'll do what we can.
Yeah. I do know there was another one. I don't know if it was the same one, but there was another caterpillar that was around this last summer. Because I remember going on a couple of shoots, like I went to like people's houses, and they were talking about these caterpillar issues they were having, and they were after a very specific tree. So yeah, I'm not sure if we need to keep talking about this, but
well, what was that caterpillar called? Anyone who's listening to the show right now is from Pennsylvania is probably screaming into the speaker right now, like it's called the caterpillar.
Invasive caterpillar, Pennsylvania. All right, let's see. Here we go. The gypsy moth.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. That would have drove me nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot that, dude. The gypsy moth.
The gypsy moth caterpillar. They were much worse when we were younger, but it does seem to be much more under control these days.
Yeah, dude, I'm looking at a picture of it. I remember these, dude, like exactly. Oh my God. It's kind of hard to describe it. They had like stripes on them. Some were like kind of bluish and reddish looking. Yeah, I remember these caterpillars very, very vividly. Not just because I'm looking at the picture.
But it's right. I mean, they were part of our childhood. That's how weird it was.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, you're right. I'm looking at a picture of one of these caterpillars. And if you're from Pennsylvania and listening to the show, yeah, you know exactly what a gypsy moth caterpillar looks like. And you don't like them. No.
Matter of fact, we should post a picture on our Facebook page.
Yeah, remember this?
Yeah, remember these? All you Gen Xers out there.
Oh, it's so gross. You know why? Because they even have a picture here of them covering like the bark of a tree. Oh, yeah. It's awful.
Yeah, dude. Did you ever smash them for funsies?
Yes.
I did too. There were so many. I mean, I remember, I'm pretty certain that like, I think my dad even told me, he's like, if you see any of these, just step on them. So I did.
I would take sticks because I remember I grew up out in the woods, and if you found a tree that was covered with them, you could just take that stick and you could just run it down the side of the tree, knocking them all off.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hindsight, I feel a little bad just murdering caterpillars, but
He's maybe not, but still, though, when I think about it, though, like I'm just like, bleh. You do things a little bit differently when you're 12.
oh, for sure, yeah, yeah, like trying to eradicate an invasive species all on your own.
I got this.
Yeah,
I got this.
I got a stick. I'm going to take care of this problem.
Don't worry, everybody.
All right, yeah. So actually, before we jump out of here, let's make a quick announcement, Joe. So we are going to do one more show for this year. For next week.
Right.
After that, we're going to take a little bit of a break, and we will return on the 8th of January, 2024. So what you got? You got one more show coming for this year. What else are we mentioning, Joe?
I think the best way to put it would be that we're looking at some format changes.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at restructuring the show a little bit. And it's still up in the air right now. Dave and I are still discussing it, but we have some ideas on how we want to restructure and reformat the show. Perhaps to bring, we don't know. Well, I don't even know what I answer that. I don't even know if I want to answer that question yet. But I think you'll see some format changes in 2024, and we hope you like them. Obviously, the jury is out on that, but we'll see in 2024.
Yeah. We'll see him next week too. But
it's true. True.
We'll see you one more time. But the format changes. I guess maybe people are wondering like why. So we've been doing the show for just over 3 years,
right?
And we've done 167 episodes or something like that. And I think we're just ready to. We're not hanging it up, so don't worry. We're looking just to change the structure a little bit. We're not even quite sure how yet. So that's what we're going to do on our little holiday break. We're going to kind of figure things out.
We've had discussions amongst ourselves, but we're looking to mix things up a little bit, and we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what we come up with. But stay tuned for that. We will, like I said, we'll still be here. We're just gonna do something different. Question mark.
Yep. Right. The truth is, we're still figuring it out. So.
Exactly. Yeah. We don't know what it is yet. We just know we want to do something.
Tell you today.
No. Yeah. The only news is we're talking about doing something different. So there you go. But it'll still be me and Joe. So don't worry, all you Gen Extra fans out there. So all right, let's wrap this one up, man. So thank you guys all for tuning in, and we'll see you next Monday.
Talk to you next time.